Hey, what's up, everybody? Pat here, gratefully recovering alcoholic and addict, just like every day. Guys, please don't forget to subscribe, leave the video a like, drop me a comment, and by all means, share with anybody you think might get something out of it. Other than that, how we all doing today, guys? Another really raw, rainy day in Boston today. I was actually kind of glad that I was in my second class today because it would have been a shitty day to work. Although I did miss out on a bunch of work, and that's okay. Work will be there. Good class today. I knew what to expect. Went in, they had a different instructor. This instructor was actually a little more fun. You know, just shared my experience and story, sat there, listened, got along. We had a great group of people there. Three people in the group, myself included, were in recovery. So we get to talk about that. We teamed up and we're grouped together. Further, again, I have kind of a crazy record. So use that, but not in a way of like bravado, but in a way of just letting the younger kids know that like this is what happens if you don't smarten up. Instructor was very impressed by it. Came up and actually gave me a hug at the end of it and said I set a couple of new records in his class, but he really liked my message, and we just had a good class. It was actually a really fun day. Went by much faster. Yeah, I'm excited that I'm 2 out of 3 classes done. I have one more next week, and then I got to do something for another state next month, and I can put this stuff to bed. And it just feels so good to not only promote recovery everywhere I go, but to be knocking out the wreckage of my past. I'm so looking forward to getting back to my home group tomorrow. Wasn't able to do some of the things in recovery that I like to do this week because just having a long class over an hour away took up a lot. But you know what? I got it done. I'm excited that I have, and just keep moving forward, guys. So we're gonna go with the just for today. I'm sorry, not the. We're gonna go with the daily reflection reading today, because again, as I was reading it, I really like this one because this one's about character building, and I saw the difference in my character today. I love how these readings so coincide so often. In the past, out of sheer embarrassment of the things that I've done, I'd go into classes like this and I just decide that I automatically have to play the class clown because I've got this ridiculous record and I know people, and it's inevitable. Like when we start telling stories, people crack up. And we're going over stuff today. I was talking about high speed chases and because I've been in one and OUIs and accidents and there was some levity with it, but there was also the seriousness of it. And a couple of the younger kids were like, man, you really lived, right? I'm like, yeah, I have, but I also paid dearly for it. And I see what it's cost me in the long run, and that's what I promoted today, and let everybody know that life's so much better on this side of things, and it went over really well. But I see the difference in my character today, and that's why I can actually get on here and put myself on camera every day, sharing my story, go out and make a difference. I got a text this afternoon from my class. I've been invited to speak at a H&I, Hospitals and Institutions Commitment, next week. So I get to go to a rehab center, which is something I've been really looking forward to doing and share my experience, strength, and hope. So I'm super excited for that. And let's get in the reading, guys. This is a good one. Character building. Demands made upon other people for too much attention, protection, and love can only invite domination or revulsion. When I uncovered my need for approval in the 4th step, I didn't think it should rank as a character defect. I wanted to think of it more of an asset, that is the desire to please people. Well, it was quickly pointed out to me that this need can be very crippling. Today, I still enjoy getting the approval of others, but I'm not willing to pay the price I used to get it. I will not bend myself into a pretzel to get others to like me. If I get your approval, that is fine, but if I don't, I will survive without it. I am responsible for speaking what I perceive to be the truth, not what I think others may want to hear. Similarly, my false pride always kept me overly concerned about my reputation. Since being enlightened in recovery, my aim is to improve my character. And guys, if that doesn't sum up exactly how I felt in these last 2 days of this class, boom. Like, it's amazing. And that's the thing, as I've said so many times, and I will continue to, I hope, I'm able to gauge that I'm progressing along beautifully in my recovery when I do these readings and see just how beautifully they apply in my life. and the fact that I do get to look at it, and I've done these classes in the past, and see the difference of it today, because I'm not in there to try to look like some gangster and some showboat, or no, like honestly, I'm in here, and literally one of the first things we had to do was write a little bit of a, well, one of our team members interviewed us, and then we introduced each other with the answers. And immediately my reason for being there is like I'm putting to bed 30 years of wreckage, and that kind of caught people's eyes. And there was a really nice young girl sitting in front of me, actually beautiful younger black girl, absolutely gorgeous girl, nice girl. And she's 23 years old, and she's like, and I'm explaining, I'm like, yeah, I'm like, shit, man. And it's funny, we got to talking later, and I'm like, you were born in 2003. My last OUI was in 1998. Like, I'm still dealing with shit that I did 5 years before this girl was born. And it blew her away. And she was starting to say, oh, I drink every day. And I'm like, listen, you're 23. I'm not going to sit up here and tell you you have a problem. I said, but understand, yeah, you're in that younger partying phase. You really want to keep it more to the weekends. This is the time in your life where you really want to be focusing and buckling down, because before you know it, 30 years is going to go by, and God forbid, I don't ever want to see you having to meet me in a meeting, though we'll be there for you if you need you. And you could see that literally she, instead of like a lot of the young kids, oh yeah, no, like she took it to heart. And it was great that she felt comfortable talking to me like that. And this girl's a teacher. She's a very educated girl. She's a beautiful, really bright young girl. And I hope I could help steer her along. Because again, I'm not saying she's got a problem. I don't know what she's drinking every day. She's going through a party phase. She's on vacation. Great. But I'm like, you know what? You got a great career. You're an amazing person. Please, just pay attention to what you're doing. Don't let things get out of control. And I love that I see that today. Instead of like, oh, this young pretty girl's talking to me about her party, and let me tell her about my party. And like, no, like I know I promote recovery today. I don't have to go in there and get people to like me. Although it's funny, I find people, again, I can look a little rough around the edges. I understand that. I'm a lot heavier today. If you don't know me, I look like, I've been through a lot, and people don't always expect the kindness that comes out of me. Well, that's what I lead with today, because I want people to feel comfortable. I want people to get to know me. I want to get to know them, and that was something I never did before. And I noticed, because I'm not doing it to get anybody to like me, I'm just in there sharing and promoting my recovery, and just, there to do my class and get my credit for it. But I noticed when I stop worrying about whether somebody's going to like me or not, and I just focus on what I'm there to do, well, I'm doing good things, and I carry a good message. So more often than not, people end up liking me. It's a beautiful thing. It really is, and it makes me feel so silly for the way I'd always act in the past, because I'd be so concerned with the way I was perceived that I would try to tailor what I had to say around the way I wanted to be perceived. And as I say that, I think about so many times. There was a friend of a girl I was dating years ago, Mary Kate, and we got along very well, but she was very intelligent, and I was always in some sort of crazy chaos. And she said something to me one night, and she's like, you're always in the midst of something horrible, but because you're not a terrible person, you somehow escape by the skin of your ass, basically. And that always stuck with me, because I realized, like, yeah, I'm in all these crazy situations, and yet I'm bullshitting my way to make it look like it wasn't my fault. And I didn't acknowledge it at the time, but that always stuck with me. And as I get recovery today, and I had to go back and look, and the guy talked about this in the beginning, I had to go back and look at all my stories and see where the truth lied in them, and stop trying to portray myself as such a victim. Because when I portray myself as a victim, and I tailor, and I literally was lying to myself. It's not that I was bullshitting. Like, I got myself to believe that these were the situations. And in doing so, I was giving away all my power. I was giving away my ability to change things and to do anything about it. When you want to go out and do terrible things or shitty things and not try, and then blame everything outside of yourself, you're telling yourself there's nothing you could have done. So why bother trying to change things? So just keep doing what you're doing, and allowing addiction to beat you up, and going for the instant gratification, because there's no way you can plan for the future, because nothing's ever going to work, because you're cursed, and you're this, and you're that. It's terrible, guys. It is self-defeating, self-deprecating, and it is a self-fulfilling prophecy. And I can say this with 100% certainty because I lived it for 30 years. The minute that I started to pay attention and realize that my problem was me, boom, that gave me the power to fix it. And it's not that simple, but it was a very important first step because as long as I was blaming everybody outside of myself, I can't control anything outside of myself. I can try and manipulate it and slam my head through a wall and hope for the best, but it doesn't work. You can't control that. I can remove myself from it. I can work on me, and I can show up in a different light, and that's what I do today. My one of my biggest hobbies is personal development, and I was talking about that today a little bit with one of the guys because again, kid walked in beside me. It's funny how God puts us together like that. Kid walked in and just took the seat beside me, and within 3 seconds we're talking, and he mentioned he's sober, and I'm like, shit, so am I. And then the girl, boom, sits in front of us, is also sober, and she chairs in a meeting on Friday mornings in Abington. And I'm like, boom, damn, boom. Our little group, we were the sober group, with the recovery group. And we kind of led a lot of the meeting, but it was great that we all get together and immediately all of us have such gratitude for our sobriety. It was the first thing we wanted to share, and it just like another God shot. And it literally, by the end of the day, everybody was coming up to us like, boy, for you three being the ones in recovery, you guys sure have a lot of fun because three of us just sharing the gratitude and talking about the program and what it's done for us and the life it's given us back. Just pumped each other up all day, and then we just got to kind of lead the show, and the instructor saw it and liked it, and so he was in there using us as the most the most prime, or myself really, for the most prime example, and having a lot of fun with it, and ended up being a really good class. Something I was dreading because I'm like, oh, but no, I made the most of it, and it was good. I showed my character today, and I show my character every day. And that's why I can get on here and do these videos and looking forward to it. And it's why I can understand that nothing but, not, but a lot of good is going to continue to come into my life because I continue to work my program and take these lessons to heart and apply. Every time I reach a level, I look for the next lesson. What else can I put into it? What else can I do? Because, I'm so happy with my life and I have such an ease. And such, I'm so filled with hope, and I'm so filled with gratitude for as amazing as the changes in my life are to this point. I know I'm just scratching the surface, and I'm just getting ramped up. Today's already the 4th. Saturday, I will have 15 months of continuous sobriety, and that's amazing. But I'm not even a year and a half in yet, and things are shockingly good. A lot of huge jobs coming up. I've got to sit down and write up my April schedule because I got a couple big things getting started and get a lot of things going. And that's beautiful, guys. And the fact that I know I can and I know I want to and I get to communicate with as many people as I do is absolutely beautiful. But I'm only able to do these things because exactly my primary goal is to increase my relationship with my higher power, to build my character into something that I'm happy with. I can honestly say today, I don't worry about who likes me and who doesn't. I worry about pleasing God and being the best version of myself so that I can like me. Because it was a very startling realization when I walked into rehab this time, and literally it hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, I knew I was unhappy, but I never realized that I was living a life where I hated myself so much that I was poisoning myself every day, even though I knew I was doing what I was doing. But I'd never confronted it. I'd never considered it. I'd never acknowledged it. And there's a lot of, knowledge is power, but it's only power if you apply the knowledge and make the changes you need to start living better. And every one of us can, guys. I'm not a rocket scientist. I'm not defective like I thought I was, but I'm able to build. And because I found one thing I've done really, really well is understood that there's a program that works in front of me. If I follow it to the best of my ability, if I work on my conscious contact relationship with my higher power, my intuition will go stronger. And as it does, I trust myself more. And I'm more apt to take blind leaps of faith in the direction that I know is right as soon as I know it's right. And when I'm not 100% sure, I just do what makes sense for it to be the best, to make either the biggest impact in my community, get me the biggest leg up, or do the most good I possibly can. And I know it's something I heard for years, but I never for once thought could possibly have the power that it does. And I'm in a position of power only because I've surrendered. And I don't try to wield power. I try to promote kindness, and I reward kindness, and I try to build my character into something that I can respect, and I've done so. And I know I've got a long way to go, but not that because and not from a position of lack or defectiveness, but I just know that I have a ton of untapped potential that I have the utmost desire to reach someday. And again, as long as I keep doing what I know God wants me to do, which is I get up in the morning and I pray for knowledge of His will for me, the power to carry it out, to be the best version of myself, and I thank Him for everything I have. And then again, I do the same thing when I get home at night before I lay my head down. I drop to my knees, I pray, I communicate with my higher power. I thank Him for everything I have, for another day clean, for one day stronger and better experiences and bigger opportunities. And then I do meditation and get my next ideas as I go to sleep every night. And then I wake up in the morning and I feel good. Boom, again, pray again, reminding myself of what I want to do. And then that in a long spell, all day long in between, I go out and act on the things I prayed for and receive the ideas for in meditation, no matter how far-fetched they seem. Like, guys, I'm sitting here now just waiting for the right opportunity to step into owning property, which was a dream I never thought I'd fulfill. But even then, when I think back of not quite 15 months ago, I was almost afraid to ask for it because I thought it might be too much and I didn't want to set myself up for failure. Because again, that's my self-will. I sell myself short. When now, 15 months later, I see what's possible and realize I should be asking for bigger. Not asking, but working towards bigger. It wasn't I was asking for a house, but should I dream of being able to pull that off? And boom. Because again, I just followed the leads. I worked on my character. I didn't go out and try to work towards building a house. No, I worked on building a business day in and day out without the outcome. Just trying to do the best I could for the customers that have given me the respect of calling me, giving me an opportunity to work for them. And as I do, I get better. I get more confident. I get more capable. And I get a better idea of what's coming down the road. And so long as I continue to move forward in the ways I have and build my character so that I can love who I am, I know I'll continue to try harder. And if I try harder, things will continue to get better. Guys, it's very simple. Not always easy, but it's really pretty simple if you just step back and let it happen. When you try to force it and you try to manipulate it and you try and twist it around or fight against it or pick and choose, it's not going to work. Surrender to it. Become a part of it. Find your flow and just build. But start by building your character. Everything else will fall into place. Guys, that's the video for today. Thank you so much for being here with me. Always remember, God loves you. I love you. We'll see you in the next one.